Today we want to talk about salvation. Salvation. How do you know that you are saved from this world? How do you know that God has accepted you and that you know where you are going and you can say, yes, I know where I go when I die? Many people are saying all kinds of things. Theories pass and go and mix, but it's something that is of utmost importance. And we should know whether God has really taken us into his family. So we're going to look at it in two parts. Part one is good news. Part two is a stern warning. And don't miss part two. But now I'm going to talk about part one only, so far. Part one is good news. It's not God's will that any should perish. The fact is, we are all born sinners. That is, from the time we are able to do something with our hands, with our feet, with our mouth, as very tiny babies, we are bent on stupidity and wickedness. You just look at a little baby, put it in his high chair, and give them some toys. Naturally, they're going to throw them and laugh. As you pick it, they take it as a joke. And that's the way kids are. And the Bible warns that kids need discipline. So we know that we all start with some propensity to do bad. Doing good is not innate in us, although we all want to be loved. And God said it's his will that everybody should follow him to heaven. But you know how it is. If you have a very nice house, full of decorations, clean carpets and all, everybody is welcome. But as people come, then normally you tell them to kindly take their shoes off at the porch so that they will not come and muddy the whole house. Suppose somebody ignores your warning and he starts splashing mud all over the house and feel very uncomfortable about it. In fact, he doesn't like the house. It's too clean for him. So normally that person will not fancy coming back because he doesn't want to remove his shoes at the entrance. He doesn't want to, fit into the atmosphere of the house. And that's the way it is with God. God welcomes everyone, and he said that he's inviting everyone, like that king that invited everyone to his feast. And at the entrance, he gives a special welcome to people with a special dress to put. But what will happen next? God invites everyone. He calls everyone. And he doesn't require us to tick a lot of boxes to be able to enter. You don't win God and don't win paradise and heaven with your good deeds, because all our good deeds are like filthy rags, menstrual clothes in God's eye. All that is required is our faith. God calls, and all he wants to do is to welcome us. But it's up to us to say yes. And if we say yes and we enter that family, he said, no one will ever pluck us out of his hand. But remember, he didn't say you cannot go out. No one will be able to take us out of God's hand, but we can. Just like the man that had 2 sons, and the youngest decided that he wanted to enjoy his inheritance while the father was still alive. And you know this is an abomination. And he told the father, just share your inheritance with us. I want my part, I want my share. And the man said, okay. Could have said, how rude, how bad it is for you to say that. He didn't. He just shared the inheritance between the 2 sons. And then the young one left and dilapidated the whole thing. Used it in useless life. And the father didn't go and rescue him from where he was. So he could have stayed there forever and died without anyone from the family knowing where he was. So remember that. God covered us with his righteousness. He provided for all of us to enjoy his family and his love forever. As we grow and walk with him while we are still on earth, he provides for us. He is always with us, never leaves us, never ignores us. He answers all our prayers, whether by yes, no, or wait. He cares. And if we continue with him to the end, if we walk with him to the very end of our life, our earthly life, then we can be sure that we are going to pass over to the other side with him by our side, and continue life eternal with him. That is part 1. Now, is it possible for us to lose that salvation, to lose that presence of God, that to lose that belonging to the family, to lose that inheritance that is given to us? My friends, the answer is yes. And if you want to know more about that, let's go to part 2 of this talk and explore why we know for sure that salvation is to be worked out with fear and trembling, as the Bible says.